Hello, welcome to the YouTube channel Botany for All. In today's video, I'm going to discuss about the anatomy of a plant that is the Nyctanthes. Nyctanthes जिसको generally पारिजात भी बोलते हैं, पारिजात or we can say हार सिंगार. It is a very beautiful plant, ornamental plant, as well as it have its spiritual values. ठीक है, भगवान को अर्पण करने के लिए भी जो है यूज किया जाता है Nyctanthes plant. So if you look at the structure of the Nyctanthes, it will look like this. These are the beautiful flowers of the Nyctanthes plant or the Harsingar plant. The Nyctanthes. These are the flowers, beautiful white flowers having a orange radii in the center. This is how the vegetative structure look like. ये plant है पूरा vegetative structure and the previous one are the flowers. So today we are going to discuss about the anatomy of the Nyctanthes stem. The Nyctanthes stem having a abnormal secondary growth as well as the abnormal primary structure. So what is the abnormality? We will look at that and we will look at the detailed structure of the stem. So Nyctanthes or Harsingar, the common name is Harsingar. Nyctanthes arbotristis is a dicot plant belonging to the family Polyaceae. Since it is a dicot plant, so dicot plants, morphologically, if I'll talk about the dicot plants, they are having the reticulate venation, they are having the hairs on the stem, they are having the tap root system. But if I'll talk about the anatomical structure and particularly the stem anatomy. So generally, a very quick overview if I'll give, they are having the epidermis and the hairs on the epidermis. These are some hairs on the epidermis. This is the transverse section of stem of any typical dicot plant. Okay, after the epidermis, there should be cortex like this. There would be cortex. After the cortex, the vascular bundles are arranged on the periphery, and in the center, there is a pith. So the common identification point in the dicot stem, a typical dicot stem, are the presence of pith. The pith is present. The vascular bundles are arranged radially. Okay, these kind of the vascular bundles are arranged. Radially arranged होते हैं. Second thing, in a single vascular bundle like this, towards the center, for example this, towards the center is the xylem. Towards the periphery or the outside is the phloem. And in between the xylem and phloem, there presents the cambium. Means the cambium is also present in the dicot vascular bundles. The cambium is also present. So this is a particular character or the general characters of any typical dicot plant. So Nyctanthes obviously is a dicot plant, so it will also have, or it should also have these kind of the structures. But along with these, some other abnormal structures are also present. Abnormal structures are also present. That's why we will study, or we will having the case study of the Nyctanthes, because it is having an abnormal structure, which are also called the anomalous structures. So what are the abnormalities or the anomalous structures that we will see? What are the abnormality? So we will quickly draw the transverse section or the TS of Nyctanthes stem. Then we will see the anomalous secondary growth or the abnormal secondary growth. So Nyctanthes is having a quadrangular structure. The stem is not cylindrical, the stem is quadrangular. So if we will cut the transverse section of the stem, so obviously the transverse section will also be the quadrangular. So it will look like this. Generally or the typically dicot stems are cylindrical, if they are cylindrical like this, so obviously if we will cut the TS will look like this circular. But here in case of the Nyctanthes plant, the stem is quadrangular, so the TS will also be quadrangular. So like a normal plant, the outermost covering will be the epidermis. Outermost will be the epidermis. Since it is a dicot, so epidermis also having the multicellular hairs. Suppose this is a hair, it is having many cells. That's why it is multicellular. The presence of the hairs on the stem is a feature of dicot plant. So till now there is no abnormality. Although the shape is kind of irregular, but this is not an abnormality. The shape may vary according to plant to plant. So the shape is quadrangular. So the outermost is epidermis having hairs. Beneath the epidermis, epidermis से नीचे होता है cortex. So the cortex may have the parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. In case of the Nyctanthes plant, particularly the cortex consists of collenchyma and parenchyma. The collenchyma and parenchyma are simple permanent tissue. Collenchyma, parenchyma, and sclerenchyma are the three types of the simple permanent tissue, which forms all kind of the tissues. So in cortex of the Nyctanthes stem, there are particularly two types of the permanent tissue. One are the collenchyma, another are the parenchyma. So the collenchyma is most abundant beneath this region. These are the appendages. These are 4 appendages. 1, 2, 3, 4. So beneath these appendages, there is a much number of, or the more number of collenchyma. Just below the epidermis, there is very less number of collenchyma. The reason which I am drawing in the red, this one, this is the cortex and particularly the collenchyma of cortex. So the collenchyma is abundant at these appendages, whereas just below the epidermis it is very less. It is dominant in these regions. Kind of groove regions. These are the regions having collenchyma. So particular this red is collenchyma. After the collenchyma, there is presence of the parenchyma in the cortical region particularly. So the cortex is embedded up to vascular bundle. So we will draw the remaining cortex after the pericycle or the vascular bundles. After the collenchyma, there presents the parenchyma. And before parenchyma, at these regions, at these appendages regions, these 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are the 4 appendages or the 4 grooves. So beneath them are present the abnormal structures. अब यहां से abnormality start होती है. It is having cortical vascular bundles. Generally in diacots, there is no cortical vascular bundles. There are vascular bundles in the vascular region, in the vascular tissue system region. But here we are also having the vascular bundles which are cortical, means which are present in the cortex. This is one abnormality. This is one abnormality that we are talking in the Nyctanthes stem, or this is one anomalous structure. It is anomalous, ANO. This is one anomalous structure that we are seeing in the Nyctanthes stem, that there are present the vascular bundles. So 4 vascular bundles are present there in these regions. 1, 2, 3, and 4. These 4 are the vascular bundle. First, the position of vascular bundles is abnormal. Second thing, or moreover, these vascular bundles are also of abnormal type. ये vascular bundle भी abnormal type के होते हैं. What are the abnormalities that we will also see? First thing, the xylem is not towards the center. The xylem towards periphery. This blue is the xylem. In an individual vascular bundle, the xylem is towards periphery or towards outside. And this xylem is exarch. This xylem is exarch, not the endarch xylem that is being generally present in the dicot stem. Dicot stem में generally endarch xylem होते हैं. But here दिस जाइलम इज एक्सार्क. एक्सार्क मीन्स बाहर की तरफ प्रोटोजाइलम होगा, पहले बाहर से बनते हुए आएगा. जाइलम भी दो तरह का होता है, प्रोटो एंड मेटा. जो पहले बनता है, जो फर्स्ट बनता है वो प्रोटोजाइलम होता है, जो बाद में बनता है वो मेटाजाइलम होता है, लेटर. सो फर्स्ट कहां बन रहा है? आउटसाइड. आउटसाइड फर्स्ट बन रहा है. इट मींस जाइलम इज फॉर्मिंग आउटसाइड टू इनसाइड, बाहर से अंदर की तरफ बनते आ रहा है, इसलिए एक्सार्क जाइलम है. एंडार्क होते हैं जब प्रोटो अंदर हो और मेटा बाहर की तरफ हो, व्हेन मेटा इज आउटसाइड. जब इनर साइड से आउटर साइड में जाइलम बनता है तो उसको एंडार्क बोलते हैं. बट यहाँ पे आउटसाइड से इनर बन रहा है, इसलिए एक्सार्क जाइलम है बंडल्स में. जाइलम सेंटर की तरफ नहीं है जैसा कि जनरली होना चाहिए था. जाइलम इज टुवर्ड्स आउटसाइड. दिस इज वन एबनॉर्मलिटी. Second abnormality is that presence of the vascular bundle in the cortex region. This is also an abnormality in primary growth. ये primary growth में ही जो है abnormality है. We are not talking about the secondary growth till now. So these are the abnormality which are present in the primary structure. Here we are discussing the primary structure of stem, not the secondary growth yet. So abnormality or the anomalous conditions are present in primary structure itself. Primary में ही present होते हैं. So these are the bundles having xylem. In between them are the cambium, and after the cambium, this is the cambium. Cambium is a meristematic tissue present between the xylem and phloem. After that, this green, this is the phloem. So it is a normal bundle which is present in the cortical region, but it is a kind of reverse vascular bundle which is having xylem towards periphery. जाइलम इसमें बाहर की तरफ है, पेरिफेरी की तरफ. जनरली नॉर्मल बंडल्स में जाइलम सेंटर की तरफ होता है, बट यहाँ पे जाइलम इज टुवर्ड्स द पेरिफेरी. दिस इज एबनॉर्मलिटी. बंडल कैसे हैं? कोलेटरल है, जाइलम और फ्लोएम अटैच है, ओपन है क्योंकि कैम्बियम प्रेजेंट है इसलिए ओपन है. अगर कैम्बियम एब्सेंट होता तो क्लोज हम बोलते हैं. टाइप ऑफ वेस्कुलर बंडल मैंने सेपरेटली एक वीडियो में पढ़ाया हुआ है. यू कैन watch the type of vascular bundles for better understanding of the type of bundles कि किस तरह के ये बंडल हैं. So these are the open as well as exarch. क्योंकि जाइलम बाहर से अंदर की तरफ बनते हुए आ रहा है, प्रोटो बाहर है, मेटा इनसाइड है. So these are the exarch vascular bundles. So these are the four, 1, 2, 3 and 4. These are the 4 cortical bundles क्योंकि ये cortex regions में है. After that there will be cortex and in the center there is a vascular tissue system. कॉर्टिकल टिश्यू सिस्टम में, कॉर्टेक्स में, एपिडर्मिस के बाद कॉर्टेक्स भी है, इवन बंडल्स भी हैं कॉर्टेक्स में, विच वाज द एबनॉर्मलिटी. उसके बाद आता है वेस्कुलर टिश्यू सिस्टम. तो वेस्कुलर टिश्यू सिस्टम में सबसे सेंटर में है पित्त. डायकॉट का फीचर होता है पित्त प्रेजेंट होना. पित्त के जस्ट बाहर है प्राइमरी जाइलम. क्या हम इस तरह से लिख सकते हैं? यहाँ पे बंडल्स हैं, बहुत क्लोज प्रेजेंट होते हैं बंडल्स प्राइमरी स्ट्रक्चर में, अरेंज होते हैं रिंग में ही एंड क्लोज. This is the pericycle. Pericycle is a part of cortex or the ground tissue system, not the cortex. It is a part of ground tissue system. Pericycle surrounds the vascular bundles. These are the vascular bundles having cambium in between them. This is the cambium, this black. This is cambium of normal vascular bundles, not the cortical vascular bundles. This is a vascular tissue system which is a normal, not the abnormal one. Upper to the cambium, this red region. Upper to cambium, this red region is the primary phloem of normal vascular bundle. Below to the cambium, this green region, this green, in every bundle, this is the primary xylem. This is the primary xylem, and the remaining portion is the cortex parenchyma that we are talking about. This region, this complete region is the cortex parenchyma. So I'm again recalling the structure of primary growth or the primary structure of Nyctanthes stem. Prior to the outermost is the epidermis. This is the epidermis having hairs on them. After the epidermis, there is a cortical region which is having collenchyma first. Firstly, this is collenchyma, the red color. Collenchyma is thin just below the epidermis, as well as it is thick or abundant just below these appendages or the grooves. After the collenchyma, this is parenchyma, this complete region. This white blank region is the parenchyma, which is the part of cortex. After the parenchyma, this is pericycle, which is also the part of ground tissue system. After the pericycle, there are many vascular bundles. These are the vascular bundles. One individual bundle having black cambium. This is the cambium between them. This is the cambium between one bundle. Upper to the cambium is the phloem, and lower to the cambium, this green region, this is the primary xylem. This is primary phloem. And in the center is pith. So this is the primary structure of the Nyctanthes stem. What is the abnormality in the primary structure? The abnormality is the presence of cortical bundles. Cortical bundle normal dicot stem में present नहीं होते, but Nyctanthes में present है. So first abnormality is what? The presence of cortical bundles. Second thing, the cortical bundles are itself abnormal. Abnormal कैसे हैं? Xylem is toward periphery. Phloem is toward center. So kind of a reverse vascular bundles are these. So these two are the abnormality in the primary structure. Now we will look at the secondary growth pattern. This was the primary structure. तो primary structure में ही abnormality आ जाती है. Secondary growth में कोई abnormality नहीं है. We will look at the secondary growth now. Okay, so if we'll talk about the secondary growth, so the secondary growth is normal. Secondary growth is not anomalous. The anomalous or the abnormality lies in the primary structure itself. केवल primary structure में होती है anomalous conditions. So what happens is there are two types of the vascular bundle. One are the vascular tissue system bundles, which are normal. Another are cortical vascular bundles, which are abnormal. The bundles are abnormal, cortical ones, but the secondary growth is totally normal. Secondary growth जो होगी normal होगी. The secondary growth may occur in the cortical vascular bundles or may not. It is not necessary that cortical vascular bundles may undergo the secondary growth. जरूरी नहीं कि secondary growth हो cortical में, but vascular tissue system के जो bundles हैं, these ones, they undergo the secondary growth. तो अगर cortical में होती भी है, may or may not, तो normal secondary growth ही होगी, और vascular में तो होती है secondary growth, which is also normal. और normal secondary growth क्या होती है? That we are going to discuss. जो bundles normal हैं like this, they are having cambium in center. This is the cambium. The cambium ring joins. इसे इंटरफेसिकुलर कैम्बियम बोलते हैं. इंट्रा जो एक बंडल के बीच में है, दिस इज कॉल्ड इंटर. इंटर एंड इंट्रा फॉर्म्स द वेस्कुलर कैम्बियम. Within a same bundle, that is intra, and in between two bundles is the intravascular cambium. So jointly they are called the vascular cambium. Upper to the cambium is the phloem. This one is the primary phloem, and below is the primary xylem. So as the normal secondary growth occurs, okay, so the cambium will start dividing outside. This is the pith. So the cambium will increase in the radius. Whenever it will increase in the radius, it will form the new mass downwards. For example, this was the pith. So this new mass is called a secondary xylem. Once the cambium is here, after increasing its radius, if the cambium is here, so all new cells are called the secondary xylem. So secondary xylem will be added between the pith and primary xylem. So primary xylem will be here. Okay, so once the vascular cambium starts dividing, cambium will form new cells between the primary xylem and cambium itself. Cambium जब downward divide करता है, downward क्या था? Primary xylem. So it starts expanding. For example, it reaches here. So between the primary xylem and the new cambium, these are the new secondary xylem cells. So this will be secondary xylem. The primary xylem will be restricted up to the pith, and the cambium will lie itself here, and above the cambium will be the phloem. So cambium phloem is added in less amount, so there will be new phloem, that is secondary phloem. The primary phloem will only remain in the patches. How the secondary growth occurs, how the normal secondary growth occurs, that you can see in the another video. So there will be only a normal secondary growth in the structures of Nyctanthes stem. So there is no abnormality in the secondary growth. The abnormality only lies in the primary growth or the primary structure. So in the center, it will look like this. There would be the pith. After the pith, there would be primary xylem. This red is primary xylem. After the primary xylem, there will be the new xylem which was added by the cambium. Earlier the cambium will be there, so now the cambium is here. In between them is the secondary xylem, this one. This would be the secondary xylem. This black will be cambium. This is the cambium now. Upper to the cambium will be new phloem. So the new phloem added is secondary phloem. This is secondary phloem. And the primary phloem just breaks down because cambium was expanding outside. Cambium बाहर की तरफ जा रहा है, तो primary phloem के केवल patches रह जाएंगे. These are the primary phloem. So that's how the secondary growth will occur normally in the vascular bundles of the vascular tissue system. Cortical bundles में भी अगर secondary growth होती है, so that would also be normal. How secondary growth occur, you can see in the separate video. So if I talk about the anatomy of the Nyctanthes stem, there are some points which can be used to identify the stem. So those are the presence of the vascular bundles in the cortical regions. In cortical region, this is the abnormality, and they lies in the primary structure. Second thing, the vascular bundles which are present in cortical regions are, we can say, converse, or they are opposite in their character. How the having xylem towards outside. So these are some points of the identification as the abnormality in the Nyctanthes stem. So this is all about the anatomy of Nyctanthes stem. It is the transverse section that we have looked in the primary as well as the secondary structure. If we want to draw the LS, we can take a slice of this diagram. For example, we can take a slice from this one like this. We have to draw the two lines. 1 and 2. This region, this triangle, we can take as the LS. So if we draw the LS, it would look like this. Firstly, it is having the outermost epidermis. We have to draw the epidermal cells. On the epidermis, we are also having the hairs. After the epidermis, we are having collenchyma that I have shown in the red. So we have to show the collenchyma cells. After that, we can draw the parenchyma, or just below the collenchyma, there are cortical bundles. So we can draw the bundles here. After the bundles, we are having parenchyma. We can show the parenchyma here. After, there is a huge cortex. So cortex would also be here. And in the even same slice, we are having the primary phloem, secondary phloem, then cambium, and then xylem, and so on up to pith. So this kind of region we can also draw in the longitudinal section. So that's all for today. This is all about the Nyctanthes stem. Have a good day. Have a good time. Thanks for watching the video.